For this video, we're going to take a look at the bear form in detail. And I just want to break down the postures. It's not a particularly complex form, though there are certain ways that we do things as we start to develop into a more advanced way of practicing. The reason why I've jumped to bear is simply because somebody requested it because they're actually training it at the moment. Once we've done a full circle walk of qigong, we've finished back weighted, we have the left foot forwards, left hand turned in. So the first movement is going to be a weight transfer forward. So we bring all the weight forwards onto this left leg. We push and extend that left arm straight towards the center. And what this means is as we step around, we're fully balanced on this front leg. So as we step around, we swing the arm and we close the fist up. So the first strike comes around at head height. The waist loads to the left. As we turn back to the right, we claw upwards, turn the claw over, drag down as the right hand cycles around, and then we do a big downwards claw from the right side. So as we drag down with both of the claws in this position, we're going to pull slightly over towards the right hip. Okay, so from the very start, we need to transfer the weight forwards onto the left leg. And all that means is that you're going to anchor all of the postures from the first section through this left foot. So as you step around, there's only 30% of the weight put onto this right leg, which means that the waist will connect down through that left leg. It gives you a lot more stability when you're performing the strikes coming off of that right hand side. The first movement as we step around, the right arm drags around, so all of the power just comes from this big outward movement. As we start to perform the claws, this is where we start to add the Baguazhang because we're at a much closer range. So from the step around, the first one is going to be a heavy hit. You don't have to worry about adding Baguazhang to this first movement. And then as soon as you lock all the way over to that left hand side, the waist rebounds and we begin to claw up. Now, we're not going to turn the waist quite as much in these next three strikes, simply because we just want to contain that power and squash it into a smaller space. So as soon as the arm comes around, we wait till the waist hits all the way onto that left side, then the hand's just going to drop straight down, which is going to power that upwards claw. So as soon as the claw comes up, we turn the waist back to the right, and then it's a very short movement to turn around and then claw down. Again, this is going to help to anchor all the way down through that left hand side. So as you pull down with that claw, we're thinking of rooting down through that left side. So as you pull down here, the right hand is going to cycle around, and this last one again is going to be a nice big heavy hit. So as soon as we pull down this way, the waist is going to turn around and then we just draw down into that right hand side. Now you'll notice that with all of the weight onto the left leg, if we pull down quite sharply over to the right hand side, we get this natural rebound where the waist wants to open back up to the left. And this is what leads you into section 2. When you're doing all of the strikes in the form, they don't necessarily have to be in the same shape when you want to use them as fighting applications. So as we go through the first section, this first movement, although it's a big swing from the right hand side, this could quite easily be a hook. So we're trying to learn the body mechanics and trying to balance ourselves through our stance and try to learn the right attributes, so then we can start to use them in all our different types of strikes. Again, section number 2 is very short. There's just a couple of movements in this. So we're going to use the rebound that we get from the end of section 1 and then switch all of the weight into the right leg. So as we turn the body, we're going to side palm off to the left hand side, and then simply do half a circle into an outwards chop. So that opening movement here, we're going to have the waist loaded to the right hand side. As we turn to the left, but we're not containing the power anymore because we're going to release that left foot. So that becomes a straight strike over to the left hand side. Now from here, with the waist slightly turned to the left, we're going to circle the hand round and then drag the waist back through. As we turn the waist towards the left, the hand is just going to release towards the left hand side along the circumference. That's a sideways palm. Now, the only way you can generate the power for that movement here is by turning the waist. So try not to worry too much about the arm movement and dragging the arm across. This is only a very small part of it. So as soon as you finish that sideways palm, the waist is going to reload and draw back across to the right. And you notice that if you can just control your arm, the strike is only going to be a few inches long, which means that you're going to strike in towards the face, around the mouth area or the cheek. And then as you turn the waist back towards the right, just shape the hand, and that's going to drop down to neck level. So you are going to get a little bit of extra space for drawing the waist back across. But it's a very close range strike, so don't worry so much about trying to smash your opponent across the room. The idea is that as we turn, we palm strike, and then as soon as we reach the end of the range with the waist turning to the left, we simply turn the waist to the right. If there's a slight delay on the arm picking up that movement, that's going to give you the space to cut back across the neck. Section 3 is nice as well because it's only just a couple of movements, so you can really kind of focus the power into these. But it is quite technical, so the timing is really important. So from your outwards chop, you're simply going to turn the palm over a little bit more. So the palm is facing away, thumb is pointing to the floor. So you're going to grab the back of the neck and pull across the body. So as we switch the weight from the right foot to the left, the arm is going to go from about shoulder height down towards your dantian. At the same time as the arm comes across the body, you want to stick your left forearm forwards to strike across the neck as you drag your opponent in front of you. So at that point that the arms cross, this is where the strike happens. Keep turning just a little bit further, and then you turn your left palm to yin, and then you strike forwards, so almost striking into the back of the head of your opponent as you bring it. So from the end of section 3, we finish striking over to the right hand side. So from here, we're going to anchor that right heel, turn the toes out slightly, hold the ball in front of the body as you step around, double finger jab to the back, turn back to the central position, roll your right forearm up, left forearm low, and then just pick up both hands, lengthen the stance slightly until you hit the bear posture. So as the hands finish from section 3, you're simply going to turn that hand up, turn and strike to the back. Now releasing the foot just helps you to realign the shoulders and the hips so your power heads in that direction. Now as you come back to that neutral position, you need to roll the forearm out slightly for a strike rather than rolling it straight up. So this makes it a little bit more martially applicable, because that way you're folding down and you're striking up towards your opponent with that rolling forearm. So along with the right arm striking forwards, you want to roll the left hand back towards the dantian. So you're operating more on a 45-degree angle, and that way you're going to find that the arms won't clash against each other if you try to do this quick. Sometimes what happens is that as soon as people turn, they go up really quick and then they'll strike their own arm. So if you just change the angle on that slightly, it becomes a little bit more aggressive, and also it means that you don't have to worry about the arms making contact. So as you transition from this movement to your bear posture, we're just simply lifting the energy up. We're going to raise out of the stance slightly, and then we just need to drop into the bear posture. So everything becomes heavy, we get sung, we're set into that right leg, and we're ready to spin on that heel. In the basic form, when we do the turning bear posture, we go relatively slow, and that's just because it makes it a lot easier for you to coordinate. When you're doing it at a more advanced level, firstly, you don't have to come off the floor so high and step over. This is just so you get the idea of putting weight into that step. But as you spin, you want to be sinking into the ground, so make sure that you stamp the heels in. And just like in the previous forms, this is going to help to access that kidney meridian and bring that ground energy up through the body. So when you start to develop these steps, You obviously want to keep about 70% of the weight on that right leg, but you can also practice the correct technique by just stepping around maybe 45 degrees or 90 degrees, because that way you won't put any more weight through that left leg or even come up to balance. So if I just shuffle around a little bit, this is more of the feeling that we want, so the weight stays in that right hand side. We don't really want to get to the point where we bring all the weight onto that standing leg and then drop over, because we're really vulnerable if we bring all the weight onto one foot and we're still on the move. So after section 4, we're going to move into the qigong. So as you spin around and you hit this bear posture, we're simply going to start to walk the circle holding this form. We finish the turn on the out breath. As you take a step through, this is in breath. Step through on the outside, out breath, in breath, out breath. And everything's just in that basic position. So tongue pressed against the hard palate, sink down slightly into your stance, tuck the tailbone under, nice straight back, tuck the chin in slightly. Okay, so section 5 is bear splashes his hands in the water. It's exactly the same posture from the circular form that's called hawk swoops the fowl. So the idea for this is that we're setting our position in the bear stance there. As you turn the waist to the left, the right hand is going to strike up in this yin-shaped palm. Now you just take a step forward with the right leg, loading the left side, turn the waist to the right, and the left hand is going to strike up. The first one is going to be in a slightly back-weighted stance, whereas the second one is going to be into a forward-weighted stance. The only other thing that you need to pay attention to is the striking line. So from this position, you'll notice that the hand's in a yang shape because the palms are pushing down towards the floor. This means that as you bring the hand through to strike, we have this yin palm and we strike up underneath the chin with the knuckles. Now, as a fighting application, it has its uses, but this is not how you use it. As you strike up, what we're doing is we're teaching the body that movement that would also replicate an uppercut. So yes, you'll see in a lot of the Hungar forms and a lot of the other martial arts, you swing up from the bottom. If you don't like to use it that way, that's absolutely fine. You can simply turn the arm round and it becomes an uppercut. So the body mechanics are sound. Depending on what weapon you want to use on the end is entirely up to you. So we really want to use the waist to power that movement through. Start off nice and big, and then you'll notice that when you come to do more of the conventional boxing style training, that movement becomes a nice efficient uppercut. So swinging the arm from the waist helps to educate your body to generate the power from the floor into your larger muscle groups and then deliver it into a strike. So from the end of section 5, we're simply going to set the feet, hold the ball, and then turn to the back, and then double finger strike. Now from here we step through and then we push down over the knees. So this is slightly different than hitting the bear posture because the hands are going to be turned forwards a little more, and this is a takedown. When you start to train these forms at a slightly more advanced level, you don't have to worry so much about the foot placements because it should happen automatically. So as soon as you finish this one, just focus on turning and throwing the finger jabs to the back, and your body should be trained well enough to do that without you having to preset your toes, so then everything feels comfortable when you switch. This is very basic level. This is something that you should cover in the walking. As soon as you have full control, you don't have to worry about it anymore, just as long as everything's working correctly. So as soon as that strike goes forwards, we simply hold. As you take the step through, try not to take the step as if it was a traditional Bagua step on the inside. You're going to take a step across the circle, placing the heel on the circumference, and then it's going to be a rounded step. So as you strike backwards, you're almost swinging that leg in to kick to the back of the knees of your opponent. Again, the position of the hands It's not the bear posture, so we don't have to turn the hands in. We're striking back with the heel of the palm. With that left hand high, you're striking backwards with the palm and you're chopping the back of the legs out with that left step. So that's the movement. We're just trying to just soften it slightly. So as soon as we've gone into the double finger jab, we step around with that left leg and then we strike backwards and down to drag the opponent over that left leg. Section 7 has two parts. The first part is going to be bear turns and opens his mouth. So this is a very, very simple movement. We're just combining two of the elements that we've used previously in the form. So you're not really learning anything new here. So from this position, we've struck backwards over the left knee. We're going to turn the palms inwards slightly. This should help to just bring the weight back towards the right leg. We're going to do another clumsy step with our turning bear stance. Here, the hands are going to reload and we're going to do a double finger jab. Obviously switching from section 6 where we had left over right, this is going to be right over left. As we finish section 6, the fingers are pointed slightly more to the front than turned in the bear posture. We turn the hands in, we set the weight slightly further back. So that small movement chambers the body, ready for your bear turn. So as soon as we've finished with our double finger jab along the circumference, we're going to reach forwards with that right hand and we're going to turn the thumb down towards the floor. So from this position, we're going to take a step through. We're going to be in a power stance. The right toe is going to be on the circumference and left heel is on the circumference from here. Now we grab to the back of the neck and then as we pull, we just poke the fingers underneath the forearm. So that would be going into CV22, which is the pit of the neck just here. We're going to step, we go forwards into a power stance. The weight is predominantly towards that left leg. We're going to grab the back of the neck and we pull forwards. You notice that the range isn't great from that upper arm, so it's just to secure the head. We then pull and jab with the fingers just underneath the forearm. Now from here, you're going to wrap the neck almost like a headlock from here. And then that movement should be straight through to the other side. It's at this point here that we change the weight on the feet. So from our power stance, we grab, wrap underneath the armpit. Now we switch the weight onto the right leg, open up the left toes, and then double finger jab back along the circumference. The second neck break is a little bit easier to perform. So from this position, we're going to grab to the close side. This time the holding arm is going to be thumb pointing upwards. So as we grab to the back of the neck, this time we turn the left palm down towards the floor, step through into a power stance again, and then we have a bit more range as we pull with that upper arm this time, and we pull and we strike forwards. Even though your body is twisting over to the right hand side, you want to keep the weight back onto that left leg, because as we turn into section 8, the transfer of the weight is going to make it easier to stand up and balance on that single leg. We finish section 7 with the waist turned slightly towards the right. And again, we've just struck to the neck and pulled the opponent towards us. Now from here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap the hand underneath the armpit. But instead of going this way where the hand comes out to the front, we're going to go this way and shoot the hand out to the back. So at the same time, we're going to use the momentum from the arm to bring the weight forwards onto that right leg. And then as we turn, we go into bear feels the way. Now, this is just a transitional posture. So it's, yes, you can train it and develop your balance and all the other attributes that come with it, but it's really just there to set up for your kick. So from this position here, we go, you want to be able to hit that balance immediately. So as soon as the weight comes through, we pull, we strike, and then as you push that right arm towards the back, the left arm sweeps around to the front, You pull the toes up in this one. It's very similar to hawk, but not quite the same. The forearm is going to rest on the knee, and you're going to just open your palm as much as you can to the front. You just need to throw the hands up as you kick forwards, and then we drop into the second part of the 8th section. The idea is, as soon as you can hit that stance, firstly, you're completely set and you're grounded, so you could use this as a qigong, just holding. But also from here, from a stationary position, if you can generate the power as you kick and then move into the rest of the form, it means that you're really starting to coordinate your body mechanics and being able to draw on that power for whenever you need it. The second part of section 8 is called Bear Tears the Flesh. This is going to be done in a forward weighted stance. We're going to drop down onto that left foot, and the hands are going to strike along the circumference. So again, with this one, the power comes in here. During these last 3 strikes, we don't ever want to be stationary as we make contact, simply because there's a little bit more complexity to these strikes. As soon as you drop down from the kick, the hands are going to come forwards and we're going to twist. So the left hand turns into the circle, right hand turns out. And then we do 2 more movements, just shuffling around the circumference. 1, 2. The third one is going to lead straight into your step through. And it's a really nice fluid way to end the form to get back into your circle walk. When you're turning, try to get the turn to come from the waist. So as soon as we land, we come in and we turn 2, 3. So you're really kind of screwing down through your core or through your waist down into the floor where you're going to be set, and it should feel almost like you're coiling a spring from side to side. So this is more of a kind of power generation posture than it is kind of like a fighting technique. So the hands are really just trying to replicate that twist from the body as you grind through, and you'll find that there's a lot of power built up here ready to take into your final few movements. As a traditional application, it doesn't have a great deal of use, but for the generation of power and the body mechanics that are involved, it's actually really, really beneficial. So it gives you another way of how to connect your body to the ground, which is exactly what the bear's there for. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thanks for watching.